It's for anything that the government wants to enact on the rest of the population, it starts here. Because if they put a virus on your ass, well, the number one hospital in the world is here to fix you right the fuck up, ain't they? Or snatch you off the street and figure out why the fuck the virus hit you harder. Maybe in the space of who are you, a lot of times we go to what it is that we do for a living and we make our work who we are. But the other side of that is I am an unapologetic black man who is fearless in the face of implicit danger, regardless of the fact of the consequences I may face. Which in itself means that amongst sometimes would-be peers, would-be family members, I'm also a face of confusion and sometimes cognitive dissonance. So I think, or I know for who I am, I'm also a free thinker, an innovator, a culture pusher, a world changer. So all those things make up who I am. So I am Baltimore. Baltimore is me, but I am also every part of the diaspora that exists, because everywhere that I go, if I never open up my mouth, if none of us ever open up our mouths, we the same. So I guess in a very intrinsic, yes, my brother, who are you? I am you, and you, my brother, my sister, my self-identifying friend who may identify as otherwise, are me. And that is Damian Umtrace Manyasterberg Jr. I find my joy so much so in the arts and in this work as a performing artist and as a writer that I was like, wow, God's got to be talking to me in other ways. There's other ways that God's trying to get me to get joy outside of this work, because even sometimes when the work doesn't seem as enjoyable, it's like, well, you've been given this thing and you've also received it. So now that you have that joy of knowing that, oh man, this is a world and a place where you exist outside of what we would call ordinary folk, because you get to be in all these spaces with all these different amazing peoples. That joy now comes from giving that to somebody else, like helping somebody else find that intrinsic thing that drives them. I find joy in that now because I know so many of myself and my peers that got to where we are without the support of our family, without the support of our friends, or the joy of knowing that we had those things. And like now, where I was seeking that validation, that joy from outside spaces and from the audiences and people that we would interact with, now that joy comes from making sure it is that you feel as free as you need to be to do all the shit that it is that you're like, wow, you're amazing for doing. Like, Dame hate the school system, but Dame love the kids. So Dame go back regardless of whatever else I got on to inspire those young people, because of the joy that I know that not only it brings me, but the joy that will give to them, and so on and so forth and so forth. Is like as renewable energy. Joy is renewable energy. And if I can give out this replenished joy that I have to somebody else, then how much different do the landscape for them look? I'm one of the most pro-black, joyfully pro-black people that I know, and a lot of my joy comes from that. And I've had to look myself in the mirror several times to see what people who don't constantly have to fight oppression view as joy. What do y'all do for fun? What is joyful for you? Is it a picnic in the park? Is it, oh, we taking graduation pictures? Like, what is that? Because we got to fight through so much mud just to get to the regular shit, to the regular joy. So regular joy is something that I'm learning now, and it's something that I'm being cautious to pass on, because freedom and gaining freedom and whatever that means is a joyous and a momentous occasion. But the purity of what that means to be alive and to be happy and to enjoy the people and the energies around you is what joy means to me. And if it is that joy is influenced by the fact that somebody else is not oppressing you for 5 minutes, is it really joy? Or is it just relief? My sister, I got a sis that's like super dope, super inspirational, and we used to work together on the road and do all this stuff, and she's like always getting these super inspirational pieces and action plans from a person who is a life coach and stuff like that, but this person was Caucasian, white. And I was like, damn, like, how does this help us? And she said, well, think about it. If I'm fighting oppression, fighting racism, sexism, misogyny, I'm fighting economic downfall and redlining and everything else that they give us to fight. You ain't had nothing to do but think about how you can achieve further tranquility. If you ain't had nothing to do but to experience tranquility without opposition, then you have a complete understanding of what it means to be at peace. So the next step is finding out how it is that we move our spaces into being at peace, and it's not marching. What is your next step? Even personally, my next personal step is moving further into those realms of international diplomatic influence. So most recently, I moved to DC. I've already been working in spaces of anti-racism, social justice, and stuff like that already. But I was like, when you get to these big rooms at these big tables and you try and figure out, man, why are the policies and why are the systems still being sustained or still in place that continue to separate people from different cultures, different creeds, but also to oppress people from African descent, black persons, is because at some point we decided that because we were so busy trying to build our own table, that our input at the table that exists was not important enough. There's a duality there where building our own table is just as important. Making sure the table exists doesn't further cripple the table you building. 2 90-city national tours, 1 trip to the Amazon rainforest, countless trips to Canada, and some more shit. And Baltimore is still my favorite place in the world. That, and I keep saying inherent, we might have to edit inherent out, maybe not, but you feel me, it's my word of the week. But you feel me, like inherently, like Baltimore being that was like, I got to get the fuck back home. Like, yo, okay, all right. So that inspiration is like, yeah, so getting a, oh yeah, yo, oh, true, that's what it is. Or going to another place and seeing that the city is not 67% black. This is normal shit for me. Like, I've been here 29 years and have visited and spent summers elsewhere, but been here for the most part of the 29 years that I've been alive, and it's still a thing where sometimes people's disdain for the city and what we have has been the biggest inspiration for me. Because I'm like, y'all see guns, y'all see drugs, y'all see homelessness, y'all see all the problems that we have, but y'all don't see the people that experience those problems. Non-art related goals is to establish a multi-generational farming infrastructure where it is that young people as well as older people can literally go and be able to learn the process of agriculture, and being able to then so duplicate that for themselves in order to not only provide non-GMO food for our communities, but also for themselves, and thus also decreasing the carbon footprint that we get for throwing all of our shit from the bodegas and corner stores into the Baltimore Harbor. It always come back home, bro.
No big toes and no thumbs, man.
No big toes.
Listen, man.
No big toes. I'm gonna tell you why.
Tell me why.
Because somehow you've been taught that you need a big toe to balance.
Listen.
You've been taught that you need a big toe to balance when you got 5 of them motherfuckers.
You know what I'm saying?
But your thumb is the only one of the appendages on your hand that can do what it do.
Come on, man.
So in order to pull the 4 parts of the 4 different cultures, Anglo-Saxon, Asiatic, Nubian or Ethiopic, and Americana together, those 4 different regions of humanity need God to pull them shits together. You don't got no thumb, you don't got shit to hold the rest of the fist together, so you punching, but your shit is separating while you punching. So what happened? You break your shit. Your shit weak. You don't got no stability, no foundation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That might be the most whole type of shit I ever say in my life.
Thank you.
Yo, hope I gave the truthfulness of myself as it is. I'm also discovering the truthfulness of myself. Man, this is the first and last interview before my head don't look like this no more. So I'm gonna just go ahead and get that to the, I'm gonna give that truth, you feel me?
Wow.
Because this is 29 years of not wisdom, it's 29 years of lessons that got me to wisdom.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Which is also 29 years of stress, 29 years of, what do you call it, the sibling tax, 29 years of the Baltimore tax, 29 years of the wire, 29 years of no broken bones or gunshot wounds, even though I can name people on my 10 fingers and toes that have experienced those things, and it's like, damn, yo, but them niggas got waves, though. I ain't never had to pick up a gun, but the trade-off is that you don't get waves this lifetime, my brother. It don't happen.
Listen.
It don't happen for you.
You gotta take the good with the bad.